So welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, AD744, and today, guys, we'll do my AFC World Cup qualifiers review for the month of November, guys. So I'm going to do this group by group, give you guys my quick thoughts on each of the matchups, then tell you how I feel like the group is going to pan out. And yeah, man, like I said, guys, I'll try to keep this around 30 minutes. Don't make this too long. And yeah, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with the first game, which we got here in Group A, which was North Korea 2, Iran 3. Um, Iran Iran were amazing this game. Iran completely dominated the first half. I thought Mohibi, Gaidi were fantastic, and Taremi was cooking. Taremi was cooking, got 2 assists. I think it was okay. It's surely over, right? 3-0 up at halftime. Iran may score a fourth, and then the breaks might come off, and the game ends 4-0. But North Korea had other ideas. Or should I say that Iran's center back had other ideas. When Kalzidi, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right, makes this stupid red card decision in the second half, clear, obvious red. I think there's some, okay, how will Iran respond? Because I would think it's about this point, okay, Iran probably will still win this, but it won't be maybe like a 3-1 or maybe like a 4-1. Then Cerami scores an own goal there. Wrong place, the wrong time. It was a bit of unfortunate. It is what it is. And then you think to yourself, okay, 3-1, North Korea. It's fine. North Korea won't do anything. North Korea scored the second goal. They scored the second goal from Kim, and you think to yourself, okay, maybe this is where North Korea is gonna actually come back and get a draw in this game. Then Mehdi Taremi wins the penalty in the second half, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, he's gonna score this penalty, right? The 67th minute, he misses the penalty, and North Korea, Iran holds on for a 3-2 win. And the second half, man, North Korea almost came close to equalizing. They had some chances, but they weren't able to convert, and the game ends 3-2. So for Iran, as I said, is it the most convincing win? No, but a win is a win, and that's all that matters in the day. And let's just hope they learn their lesson, because if this happens again, we're gonna have a combo. So, like I said, for Iran, massive 3 points for them on the road. Well, actually, it was a neutral venue because North Korea's not playing at home, but you know they were the home team, North Korea, supposedly. Moving to the next game we got here is Qatar 3, Uzbekistan 2. I feel so bad for Uzbekistan. I feel so bad for Uzbekistan because Qatar were great in this game. Qatar were fantastic the first half. I thought first half Qatar were fantastic. Akram Afif, almost Ali combined. And you could see that without these two players, Qatar are just not that great. And we'll get to them in a bit later in this video. But yeah, Ali was fantastic. Great set piece there. The 2 goals. The 25th minute was a great set piece there. And the 41st minute was a great goal as well. And there was some, okay, Qatar 2-0 up. Uzbekistan, it's probably looking doom and gloom for them, especially with their striker Shomardov off. And there was some, okay, maybe Qatar, maybe Qatar is going to win this, right? But Uzbekistan other ideas. They scored 2 goals. Fazulov, who had been great up until this point, scored 2 lovely headers there to make it 2-all. I think was okay, maybe Qatar is going to hold draw points here. Then there's this red card that should have been given the second half. I don't know why the red card wasn't given stoppage time. Stoppage time was added. 12 minutes was added on, and Lucas Mendes scores a last-minute goal to give Qatar a massive 3 points. They needed these 3 points. And yeah, for Qatar, as I said, man, was it the most convincing win? You could argue that Uzbekistan should have got a draw in this game. But at the end of the day, Qatar were better in the first half. Uzbekistan didn't really show up in the first half, and Qatar got the massive win indeed. So it is a bit controversial with 12 minutes of stoppage time being added. Qatar, Uzbekistan being supposedly robbed, as people would say. But at the end of the day, guys, Uzbekistan didn't show up in the first half, and Uzbekistan mentally switched off in the second half and allowed Qatar to get back in the game. So it's a heartbreaking loss for Uzbekistan. But Uzbekistan, I still feel like have enough quality, finish top 2 in this group, and let's hope this loss doesn't affect their morale, because if it does, it could come back to bite them. And for Qatar, man, massive win for them. They needed this win, and yeah. And then UAE 3, Kyrgyzstan 0. UAE, I thought, were great in this game. Although I don't think, although as good as UAE were, and obviously they were the better team, Kyrgyzstan were so abysmal. Kyrgyzstan were so shocking defensively. Defensively, they were so atrocious. I look at I think the first 2 goals, if I'm mistaken, were terrible mistakes there from the back. Especially that Ulai guy made a horrible mistake for the first goal. And yet the second goal, I believe, is an individual mistake as well. Great goals there from Shalahi. and Melanie, and then that third goal from Salahi. That second goal for Salahi was fantastic. I mean, it was an amazing goal there to end the game there. Lima also looked amazing as well. Two assists for him. And yeah, for UE, a much needed win after it being disappointing both September and October. And I think it's a critical win for UE to keep their World Cup hopes alive. Now we move on to match day 6 games where we had the reverse one. And Iran, Kyrgyzstan 2, Iran 3. I thought Iran had learned the lesson after the North Korea game. It's like, okay, you know what, Iran, we played well, but we're not going to make sure it happens again. Well, it happened again because Iran almost threw away this game, having a 2-0 lead with a fantastic start there. And you're thinking to yourself, why? How is Iran doing this again? You know, Mehdi Taremi scored in the goal there. Hardani scored, and then you're thinking to yourself, okay, Iran surely have got this time, right? Kojo had other ideas. Kojo I thought was amazing for Kyrgyzstan. He scored that great header there, the 51st minute, and then that he scored a penalty there. Great penalty. Then Osmoon, man. Osmoon scored in the 76th minute. And Iran, man, they just made it harder for themselves than it should have been. Because this is a game they should be winning. It shouldn't be taken this close. And you have to give credit to Kyrgyzstan because Kyrgyzstan, for me, while they may not have enough quality in this group, and I think I'm starting to realize this, they can compete. It's going to be difficult to beat Kyrgyzstan because Kyrgyzstan, I feel, have been very unlucky in this game. And I feel like Kyrgyzstan did deserve to get a point in this game, but unfortunately, that's just football at the end of the day. You know, that's just football at the end of the day. You have to. It's about outscoring your opponent, and Iran did. Kyrgyzstan didn't. And yeah, Koja, man, I feel so bad for him because he did so well in this game. I thought he was amazing in this game, but Osmoon, man, had the last laugh. And for Iran, as I said, man, they have to fix up the defense because Iran, historically speaking, are very good defensively. Nowadays, they look like they don't look like a good defensive team anymore. So shocking to see. And for Kyrgyzstan, man, keep your heads held up high. At least you guys got to win. Put up some good fights, and just hope that you guys can maybe finish in fifth place, which I think fifth place will be good for Kyrgyzstan. I think it'll be a great achievement for them. Next one we got UE5, Qatar. Remember I told you guys Qatar is Almoz Ali Akram FC? Yeah, that's what they are. Because my goodness me, Qatar were so atrocious this game. Defensively, they were so shocking. The amount of space they gave UAE in this game was crazy. And I'm sorry, this is a two-time Asian Cup champion. I should be having higher standards than this. And remember, guys, prior to these two qualifier matches, Qatar had always been smashing UAE. And the recent fixtures, remember, Qatar destroyed UAE in the semifinals of 2019 at UAE's crib. And the fact that UE did this is absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to Lima. Lima was amazing on the day. I mean, the guy scored 4 goals. Is absolute insanity. 4 goals, 4 lovely goals there. I thought he was amazing this day. Al Ghassani was also great. Salah, he was great too. And you know, it was crazy. Even Caillou didn't start this game, which was surprising. I thought he was great, wonderwhelming. Um, so I guess it makes sense why he didn't start. And for but Qatar, man, they were so atrocious. I'm sorry, Lucas Mendes, he's a garbage center back. Oh my jeez. Sure may have scored the winner for them in the last game. But my goodness me, defensively, he is so abysmal. He gave away a stupid penalty there for a second goal there. And then I think it was the center mid there, Al Hassan. Horrible mistake. I think it was for the third goal, if I'm not mistaken. Barsham gives away a penalty. And yeah, Qatar just looked hopeless, man. And Qatar looks really hopeless. And without Afif and Ali, this team is finished. This team is finished, guys. This team, without Akram Afif and Almoz Ali, is nothing. They offer nothing else in attack. And I'm sorry, as a two-time Asian Cup champion, surely I expect more quality players up front. And I know Afif and Ali are amazing. Obviously, they're great players. I'm not saying they aren't. But to the point where if these two players aren't balling out, you're finished. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous for Qatar. Absolute clown show from Qatar. And UAE, man, 6 points this window is very impressive. And now UAE have put themselves maybe in a position where they could qualify for the World Cup, guys. They're only 3 points behind Uzbekistan. And Uzbekistan, which we'll speak about them in a bit, have not been that convincing. So moving on to the final game we got here of Group A. We got here North Korea nil, Uzbekistan 1. Uzbekistan, man. Like I said with Iran, this team makes it harder for themselves than it should be. Because Uzbekistan had a great lead there, Fazulov there, and then for some odd reason, Uzbekistan just collapsed the second half. North Korea almost got the point in this game. They got a penalty there, which was definitely a penalty. Maybe the red card was a bit harsh. I think that red was a bit harsh, but it is what it is. And then obviously North Korea missed a penalty. North Korea have pen bottlers. This is now the third pen they missed because I believe they missed against Uzbekistan reverse fixture, and I believe they missed against UAE, and now they missed against Uzbekistan again. Like you got to change the pen taker. And then they had a great chance to equalize right at the end, but it wasn't to be. And Uzbekistan holds on for a massive 1-0 win. But my goodness me, Uzbekistan have to improve because I'm sorry, this is really shocking. Like, I understand you're like I said earlier, at the end of the day, it's about qualifying the day. You just want to get the 3 points. But this is just so shocking. Like, to barely just squeeze a win against North Korea is quite shocking in itself. So, Uzbekistan, man, I'm just not convinced, but a win is a win, as they say. And looking at the group stands right here, Iran, Uzbekistan are looking like heads and shoulders. Iran is definitely going to qualify. I'm pretty confident of that. Uzbekistan should get that second place, although Uzbekistan do have to play UAE away, which is going to be interesting. If UAE can win that game, that could be massive because UAE actually have a superior goal difference than Uzbekistan's actually interesting. Qatar, I think for me, Qatar, their best case is playoffs. I don't think they can make more than playoffs. Kyrgyzstan's on 3 points and North Korea's on 2 points. Honestly, I'm looking at this group. I think the group is going to finish probably in this order. I don't really see any changes happening. Maybe the only thing I can maybe see potentially happening is maybe Qatar go above UE, but I feel like these teams are they're ranked and they're according to their specific their how good they are. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this group unravels. But I think the group will finish as it is. Moving to this one, man. Oman won, Palestine nil. Oman, man, fantastic win for them. Great goal there. And I believe it was the 80th minute of the game. Fantastic for them. But my goodness me, for Oman, they need some more players up front because I feel like they're really reliant on this just Oman's attack is just not that great. The goal scorer, Al Ghassani, scored a great goal there in Palestine, man. I just need to see more from their attack because I'm sorry. Zabak has to step up. Zabak's been so mid this the third round so far, and I really had high expectations for him, especially how good he was the second round. But the third round, he's just been ghosted, and Palestine, they just don't have enough good. Their attack is just toothless. Their attack is toothless, and so Oman, critical win for them, and a hopes for a playoff spot. Moving to the next game we got here, it is Iraq nil, Jordan nil. This was a snooze fest. I'm sorry, Jordan. I thought were the much better team. I thought defensively they were great. They man marked Ahmed Hussein out of the game. Ahmed Hussein was nowhere to be seen, and I thought Jordan for me they were great. I think the only thing that let Jordan down was their attack in the end of the day because Al Nami, Al Tarami, Al Swan they didn't turn up, and it almost felt like every time Jordan went in the attack, I think it was Al Nemate that had to do a lot of hero ball. And what is hero ball essentially? It's basically when you do everything your own and you don't rely on everything else. And it was a lot of hero ball for me for Jordan, and I just thought it wasn't effective. And for Iraq, I just felt like they only really showed up, in my opinion, for Iraq, their attackers in particular, when the subs were made. Because when the subs were made, Iraq almost won the game. Iraq almost won the game. But I'm looking at Jesus Casas in particular there. Why are you making subs so late in the game? A game of which you have not been that great in. And remember, Iraq only got 2 shots on target. Like, how did Bayish play the full game is mind boggling to me. And why is Zidane Iqbal not playing? Why is not he's not playing? Like why is these players not playing? And I just think that for me, for Jesus Casas, he made the subs way too late in like the 70th minute of the game. I mean, I just don't understand. I feel like he should have started those players and made the subs a bit earlier. And maybe if it was made earlier, Iraq could have won the game because they had some close chance at the end. Um, and yeah, I mean, I just think that for me, they were underwhelming. Al Amari, I thought was fantastic. Ahmed Hussein was very underwhelming. And for Iraq, as I said, man, are they Ahmed Hussein FC? Because it really does feel like for me, they really need Ahmed Hussein to deliver for them for the goals. Because without Ahmed Hussein, this attack just doesn't look as electric. But defensively, they look good as well. You have to give them credit. And for Iraq, as I said, I think for Jordan, they'll be the more happier of the two teams considering had to play on the road. But for Iraq, as I said, man, why couldn't it, why did they start so why didn't they look that great throughout the game? It's just underwhelming to me. But a draw is a draw, 0-0 draw, and yeah. Moving to the next game we got here, it is Kuwait 1, Iraq. I'm sorry, South Korea 3. I thought South Korea fantastic in this game. South Korea absolutely did just demolish Kuwait. Kuwait literally did not do much in this game. The only thing Kuwait had was that great goal there from Daham, but besides that, Kuwait didn't really offer anything else. South Korea I just thought were amazing. Wong Byom, that midfielder from Feyenoord, I thought was fantastic. Got 2 assists. Son was obviously great. All was great as well. And yeah, South Korea just looked amazing. They had the young attackers, Bala Bai as well. And I just think South Korea is just too talented, too amazing. And shout out to Son, man, for scoring his 50th goal for his national team. And it's an incredible achievement for him. And for South Korea, man, they're in cruise control. They're going to qualify for the World Cup. And as for Kuwait, they just don't have enough quality. They just don't have enough quality to compete. Moving to the next one now, we got Palestine 1, South Korea 1. Now, this is a bit of a shock result. I did not see this coming. Although, to be fair, I did say Palestine did hold South Korea to a 1-0 draw the first time they met. So maybe Palestine is South Korea's bogey team, as people would say, because Palestine, for me, in this game were fantastic. I thought Palestine, they scored that great goal there. Great goal there from Kunbar. Bad mistake there from Kim and Jae. Kim and Jae giving away the ball there. And I thought it was a great way to open the account for Palestine. And I think Palestine were fantastic. They played defensively well. I thought Hamada was fantastic, making those key saves. And then Son scoring that crucial equalizer there. And yeah, I just think for South Korea, man, I just think it was a bad day in the office. They just weren't clinical in the final third. I think they just messed up. And I think for South Korea, it's a bit of a frustrating result, but I think at the end of the day, South Korea should be fine. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to qualify for the World Cup, so I wouldn't be too worried for them. And I think for Palestine, it's a great result for them. They got a draw against South Korea. 2 draws against South Korea is amazing. But for Palestine, man, are you going to get those wins? Because that's what's going to really matter. And you know what the crazy thing is, guys? Palestine still sacked their coach, even after getting a draw in this game. You know how messed up that is? You know how sad that is? Okay, I understand that the results haven't been going great, but you just got to draw against South Korea, one of the best teams in Asia. To sack him, I mean, I think it's a bit harsh. If you're gonna sack him, you should have sacked him after the Oman game. But it is what it is. Maybe Palestine will improve now, but they got to start getting wins. And Dabag, as I said, man, he still needs to fire goals. I'm still not impressed with his overall play, and yeah, I just think for Palestine, man, it's a good result for them, but man, they need to start picking up wins. That's all I'm saying. Moving to the next one we got here, it is Oman nil, Iraq 1. Iraq got a critical win on the road against Oman. Was it a pretty win? Not necessarily. I think Oman had their chances, but Iraq, man, they proved my allegations wrong. Because remember I said earlier in the video that Iraq might be Ahmed Hussein FC. Well, they aren't. They scored a goal without Ahmed Hussein. And it was a great goal there from Yusa Amin. Fantastic goal there. Great link up play there. And I wish he started the last game. He should have started the last game. But yeah, it was good to see that he made some changes. Bayush didn't play this game. Iqbal played. Yassine played. And you could see that Iraq went with a completely different shape. They went with a 4-2-3-1 in this game, where I think in the last game, I think they went with a 4-1-4-1. So they went with a completely different formation. You could tell that Jesus Casas knows how to get the best out of this team, make the changes that are needed. But my issue with Iraq is just I need to see more in that attack. I need to see more in that attack because I know this team has quality in attack, and we saw the Asian Cup and how quality they are. Defensively, though, they've been fantastic. You have to give them that credit. Like defensively, they've been spot on. I think there's only been 2 games in which they conceded goals, which I think was the South Korea game on the road, and there was another game that kind of I'm forgetting right now at the top of my head. I think it might have been the Kuwait game or maybe it was a Palestine game. I'll have to double check. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Iraq defensively have been fantastic, and they actually have the best defense in this group. It's not even South Korea. It's not even Jordan. It's Iraq. So fantastic result for them on the road, and it's a massive win for them. And for Iraq, as I said, man, I just need to see more in the final third if they want me to, if I want to take them as a chance to make the World Cup because they haven't made the World Cup for quite some time. Moving to the next one, got here. It's Kuwait 1, Jordan 1. Jordan, man. This team, man, this team just lets you down. Because this is a team that's very hot and cold. This team could do so well, and then this team could let you down. Because, it was amazing. Like you got a draw away against Iraq as a away team. That's a great result. But now to follow up with this to Kuwait, and with all due respect, this is Kuwait, guys. Kuwait is not even that great. They're one of the lowest ranked teams, I believe, in the third round. The fact that Jordan did this is quite shocking because I'll name it, man. What a goal that was! 21st minute. That was a beautiful goal there, only for it to be scrapped away by Daham, who scored a banger of a goal, by the way. And yeah, I mean, it was a game where it was a close game. It could have gone either way. And I think for the backup goalkeeper for Jordan, he probably should have saved that goal there. But yeah, I mean, Jordan can also count themselves lucky. As much as they had chances to win this game, they had a late chance there, I believe, the 89th minute. Kuwait almost won the game right at the end. Almost won the game right there at the end. It was just a miss. I think it was a missed shot there, and yeah, I think a draw is probably a fair result. Both teams created well, and Jordan were fantastic that first half, but the second half, man, they weren't as good, and Kuwait came alive. And I think this is almost like a carbon copy of the first game when they played. And remember the first time Jordan played against Kuwait? Jordan were so good in that game, and the Kuwait just scored a last minute goal. It almost feels like the same kind of game where Jordan are just not clinical enough in the final third. And that's the worrying thing for them is that it's a team that is like they just don't have the same intensity in the throughout the game because you could argue that Jordan and Kuwait almost won this game. And had Kuwait won, ooh, Jordan in a really bad position. But thankfully for Jordan, they got the draw. But man, they're gonna have to improve in these kind of games, these kind of close, decisive games, because Kuwait, man, they could be a bit frustrated. They only got a point in this game. So looking at the table right here, guys, South Korea is top of the table as expected with 14 points, undefeated. Iraq is second. Jordan is third. Oman is fourth. Fifth is Kuwait, and sixth is Palestine. I feel like looking at this table right here, guys, I think Kuwait and Palestine, I think it's fair to say they're not going to get the playoffs. I just think that for me, they just don't have enough quality to get it. Well, Palestine have quality. It's just they haven't been scoring enough goals and they haven't won any games. So I just don't see it. And for Kuwait, I just don't think they have enough quality. And I think Oman, I just feel like they're just the most balanced. They can score you the goals. They have enough quality as well. Although I don't really like their attack in particular. Their attack can be a bit improved. So that fourth place spot is very tricky to call, but I'm going to give the edge to Oman for now. And then for that top three, man, I think Iraq is looking maybe nailed on for second place because of how good they are defensively. Although Jordan still have to play Iraq at home, and I think that game in June, I believe it's in June, that could be a crucial game to decide the second place. And then South Korea, obviously top, they're going to top the group as we expect. And I think the question is who's going to get that spot. So it's very close, guys. This group, I don't think it's anything is 100%, but I think what is very evidently clear is South Korea will top, and I think it's a matter of who's going to get that second place. Because right now, I'm giving the edge to Iraq just because of how good they are defensively. But Jordan can definitely do it because I think Jordan for me. See, I think this is the difference, guys. I think Iraq have a better defense, and I think Jordan have a better offense, and I think that's the difference. And I feel like for Oman and Palestine, and Kuwait, I just think Oman is just the best of balance, where they're good defensively, they're good attacking wise, and they have enough quality. So I think it's the best of the bunch. But like I said, this group is very close to call. Anything can still happen, and we'll see what March brings. Moving to the final group we got here, Group C, we got here is Australia, nil, Saudi Arabia, nil. Australia should have won this game with the amount of chances they had. I don't know how Australia didn't win this game. Saudi Arabia, in my opinion, were quite poor in this game, but they did get a goal disallowed right at the end. And for Australia, as I said, man, they just need a clinical guy up front because I'm sorry, Australia just there's because I'm sorry, when you go from Tim Cahill to Mitchell Duke, there's a serious downgrade. There's a serious downgrade, and yeah, Australia is just shocking. And for Saudi Arabia, man, they should be happy with this result because I thought Australia played better. And but yeah, like I said, just both teams just didn't really offer that much in the day. And I think a nil-nil draw is probably a fair result. Moving to the next game we got here, it is China. China. A Bahrain nil, China won. Man, China, man. They got the win on the road in crazy circumstances. Because Bahrain thought they'd won this game. In the 87th minute, okay, you're thinking, so okay, Bahrain is going to get a 1-0 win at home, keeps their World Cup hopes alive. Nope. Then a few minutes later, Zhang scores in the 91st minute. And this is a guy that's been criticized a lot. This guy misses a lot of sitters. And the fact he scored the winning goal was crazy. Bahrain goes down in for 10 men for stupid stop, for basically a clumsy challenge there. And yeah, Bahrain, man, I'm just really disappointed with Bahrain in particular because this is a team that's at home. And the fact that they had only one shot on target in this game is mind boggling to me. 71% possession, 6 shots. China with 7 shots, 3 on target, 29%. The fact that China did this without Wu Li is also commendable. And the fact they did this on the road as well is commendable. You have to give China a lot of credit there. You have to give the manager a ton of credit there, what he's instilled with this China team, because what he's shown with this China team, Branko Ivanovic, is that this China team, while they may not have enough quality, they're going to be difficult to break down. Defensively, I thought they were fantastic. And you have to give a lot of credit for that. And for China, as I said, man, crucial win for them on the road. And yeah, it's good to see for China, man, making this group very interesting. And as for Bahrain, very disappointing for them. And yeah, just underwhelming, man, underwhelming. Then Indonesia nailed Japan. Japan, man, oh, they're so good. Japan just owns eight. Japan is the best team in Asia. Don't argue with me in the comments, guys. Japan is the best team in Asia. That being said, though, Indonesia honestly didn't play that bad because Indonesia, I would say, for the first 20 to 30 minutes, I'd say they were better than Japan. In particular, I think the Japanese center back, Ichikura, he was having a disaster class. Disaster class. He almost costed his team. It's just that Indonesia couldn't convert their chances. Once Japan got the first goal, you just knew it was over. You just knew it was over because once Japan got the first goal, you just knew it was over. Bad own goal there from Hubner. Minamura scoring the goal there in the 40th minute. And then I think Morita scored the goal there in the 49th and Sugora 69th minute. Like Japan were just fantastic on the second half in particular. And I just think Indonesia just collapsed. I just think Indonesia just lost hope. They tried their best to maybe get a consolation, but it just wasn't to be. And I think Indonesia just fell apart, man. That I think it was the Idais. I think he made a horrible mistake. I think it was the second goal, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Indonesia, man, I just felt bad for them because I actually thought the first half they were great. They just couldn't convert their chances. And the second half, though, Japan just took over. And Japan, cruise control, and they are the best team in this group by far. Then moving back to Japan, China won, Japan 3. Now, Japan played well in this game, but this was kind of uncharacteristic for Japan because the goals they scored were all headers. Japan normally don't score header goals. Japan normally don't. And the fact that they did in this game was fantastic. I'll go with the brace there. Um, Ichikura also with the goal there. Japan were just great with the set pieces in particular. As for China, they were great, I'd say, defensively, and I think they had a good counterattack. It's just that they don't have enough quality to compete with Japan. And it was a great goal there from Lean on the second half. Respond, after Japan went 2-0 up, but you just knew that Japan was going to win this game always. Like Japan are just a superior team to China. China, nothing to be ashamed of. And I think this is a great winner for China. 3 points of this window against Bahrain on the road is critical and it's keep themselves in a great position because now they're literally tied with everyone else in this group with 6 points, besides Australia and China. I'm sorry, in Japan. So that's a fantastic win for them. Even though they are still bottom of the group, I think China can still be very proud of what they had in this window. So all of my Chinese fans, you should be celebrating this. Moving to the next game we got here, it is Indonesia too. Guys, we had to have a discussion, guys. Which national team is more finished, Qatar or Saudi? Because I'm very torn here, guys. Because I one had the obvious. Because I'm actually going to probably say Saudi. Saudi is worse. Because at least with Qatar, they can at least offer you goals, and they at least beat Uzbekistan. Saudi Arabia did nothing. Saudi Arabia haven't scored a goal for some time. The last time Saudi Arabia scored a goal was actually against China. That 2-1 win. And remember, if you guys remember that game, it was off of set piece goals. Saudi Arabia, this national team is finished. And Harvey Renard, he has a tall task in his hand. He has to somehow get this team to qualify for the World Cup. And this Saudi team looks awful. Awful. And I'm sorry, when your best player is your center back, that's a lot of issues. A lot of issues for your team. Take nothing away from Indonesia. Indonesia were fantastic. They completely exposed the high line that Harvey Renard was doing. And they played fantastic. Marcelino with the headline scored the 2 goals there. Fantastic goals there indeed for Marcelino Ferdinand. He's a bright youngster, and he has to make a move to the big European leagues. He has to make a move. He has to because he is just that good. At 20 years old, fantastic. I thought Verdinand was also fantastic as well. Martin Pais, I thought was also great as well. He made some big saves, especially towards the end. And yeah, I mean Hubner as well. I mean, basically the only blemish for Indonesia is the Hubner made just got a bit too reckless there at the end. Got a red card, but for Indonesia, I think they're fine. They'll probably be able to find someone to replace him. And I think Indonesia were just fantastic. They honestly got the win that they deserved because it's almost like the Japan game where okay, they created so well, they started the game so well, but can they convert those chances? But they convert their chances this time, unlike against Japan. And for Indonesia, man, fantastic win for them. Probably their biggest win in their history. The first win ever in the World Cup qualifiers. And it's great to see this national team do it. I would love to see Indonesia at the World Cup at 2026. And it'll be a fantastic achievement for them. And you have to give a lot of credit. And as for Harvey Bernard, Saudi Arabia, they better finish top four. Because if they don't finish top four, we're gonna have to have an emergency stream, and that'll be one of the biggest disgraces for Saudi Arabia. Because remember, guys, Saudi Arabia are the big powerhouse in Asia. They're one of the biggest national teams in Asia. You can't get a top four. Nah, I mean that's peak, man. That's peak. Then finally, the final game we got here it is um Australia Bahrain to Australia 2. Australia, man, they had the perfect start. Great goal there from Yengi. The first man of the game. Horrible mistake there from the Bahrain defense. It was a horrible mistake there. But, Australia capitalizes upon it, and it's 1-0. It's 1-0. You think of yourself, okay, Bahrain is going to lose this game at home. Australia looking good that first half. Bahrain were nowhere to be seen. But the second half comes around, Bahrain makes. You have to give credit to the manager, Drazovic. Sorry, not Drazovic. Talic. Dragon Talic. Hope I pronounced his name right. Makes a brilliant change at the 66th minute. Hassan catches Matthew Ryan off his line. And by the way, what was Matthew Ryan doing there? Hassan scored a great goal there. And you're so okay, it's 1-1. How will it go from here? Then Hassan scored again. Horrible mistake there. I think it was from Australia. I think it was from Burgess that made the horrible mistake there. That terrible header a terrible header miscue there. And it's 2-1. You think so? Okay, Bahrain is actually the double over Australia because remember Bahrain defeated Australia the last time they played, and Australia got the equalizer there. Yankee there again at the last minute, and yeah, Bahrain man just couldn't clear the lines, and um, Australia got this crucial point on the road from the set piece, and it ends 2-2. So Australia, man, just stupid lapse of defensive concentration because let's be real, Australia should have won this game. They only draw points in this game because of how naive, how stupid mistakes they made. But for Australia, as I said, man, they have to limit those mistakes. And for Bahrain, man, credit to them for making the best out of the situation because in a game in which they were completely outclassed, they managed to sneak a point in this game. Fantastic win for them. And looking at the group right here, guys, the only thing I'm certain with is Japan will finish first. That's the only thing that I'm confident with. The rest, though, I have no idea because Australia, Indonesia, Saudi, Bahrain, China. Guys, this group is only separated by 7 and 6 points. You know how mad that is? Every nation in this group has won a game. This is the only group in the qualifiers that every nation's won a game. It's mind-boggling to me and how close this group is. Now, let's be real. That second place is going to really be between us. It's going to be between Australia and Saudi. I don't think Indonesia is going to get second place. I don't think they're in contention. And right now, I'm gonna lean with Australia, but maybe Saudi can do it. For Saudi Arabia, man, they better finish in the top four. They better finish the top four. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So let me know what you guys think of my AFC review, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this one. It came out to be around 33 minutes, so I did roughly around was expected. It went a little bit more. But that's okay, I suppose. So hope you guys did enjoy. Please remember to like and subscribe as well, and remember to comment down below your thoughts on the games. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy.